Hello, my name is Jacqueline Batris, and today I will be talking about the United States versus Japan and about their laws. In this presentation, I will compare how law is different in the United States and Japan. The major points of this presentation is how different their law enforcement, their court system, their correction systems are handled in both countries. So I will start off with talking about the United States law enforcement. We all know, especially how today is pretty complicated with everything that the law enforcement police officers have been caught doing with video cameras to citizens to other people. But in the United States, the model of policing is unique because it decentralized multiple uncoordinated type of police structure that allows for separate police forces to enforce the laws of the nation. As we all know, the forces are comprised of local, state, and federal police agencies. As we also know, local police agencies are responsible for enforcing the laws of the state, and federal agencies enforce the laws of the nation. The Constitution, we also know that the Constitution protects citizens from abuses of power by law enforcement officers, which many can say today that they don't agree with that statement because of many reasons. Japan's law enforcement. It's a bit differently because the Japanese police, which is also known as the prefectures, operates under a decentralized single system. The police law specifies the obligations of the police, which includes the defense of life, possessions of individuals, deterrence to traffic, and the suppression and uncovering of a crime and suspect. The main obligation is to uncover the crime. In Japan, Japanese police can legally detain a suspect for 23 days without an official charge, which is different from the United States. Japan has three main law enforcement systems, which are the National Public Safety Commission and the Prefectural Division. The National Public is the supervising agency for the Japan policing system. The Safety Commission is under the direct authority of the Prime Minister and responsible for all the police operation in the country. And the Prefectural Division, if the main division of the police in Japan, they are the only police agencies that perform actual police work. Now we go on to the United States courts. As we all know, because we at some point have been in the courtroom in the United States due to jury duty or another circumstances, in the United States, the courtroom consists of judges, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and members of the jury. Unlike, as you can see in Japan's court, they have 5 types of court, which are the Supreme Court, High Court, District Court, Family Court, and the Summary Court. So in the United States court, the prosecution has the burden of presenting evidence against the defendant and proves that the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense is responsible for challenging the evidence presented and finding the flaws in the evidence that's discovering possible violations in the law to prove that the client is innocent of the alleged crime. As we know, the jury is responsible for determining the defendant's guilt or innocence after hearing all the facts of the case from both the prosecution and defense. Because, as we all know, the court system, it should be a fair trial. It should be a fair trial because even if you cannot afford a lawyer, the government issues or helps you with one. In Japan's court, which I already stated before, they have 5 courts that exist. The concept of the stare decisis does not apply in Japan, unlike the U.S. The Supreme Court consists of 1 chief judge appointed by the emperor and 14 other judges. Japanese courts do not have a jury. All cases are decided by the judge, who is responsible for issuing sentences, calling for evidence, and questioning of the witnesses, which is very different from the US, because in the US there's one specific individual that carries that specific case or that specific subject, and in Japan the judge is responsible for all those types of stuff, which can be harder because it's you're not just being a judge. You have to sentence, call for evidence, question of the witness, which is something that a lawyer can be doing. The United States correction system, the U.S. correction system is comprised of correctional officers, probation officers, and parole officers. Each of the positions are responsible for ensuring that the offender serves their sentence and supervises them while they serve. Japan's correction system, there are reports of high torture rates and cruel, inhuman conditions in Japanese prisons. Capital punishment is legal in Japan, and in Japan, executions are only carried out for the murder cases, and the method of execution is hanging. Um, in the United States, we also have high torture rates, but I feel like in Japan it can be higher due to how the law is different. Does one thing that caught my attention while I was researching the differences between the United States and Japan's law system is if Japan had a freedom of speech. And what I found out was that Japan guarantees freedom of expression, and the Supreme Court has stated that the freedom of expression is particularly important in a democratic nation, and it can be restricted for the sake of public welfare to an unreasonable and unavoidable. A strong alliance based on shared values. The U.S. and Japan alliance served as the cornerstone of peace, security, and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific and across the world for over 6 decades. The people of Japan and the United States support each other in times of need. Japan was one of the first countries to offer assistance following the 9/11 attacks and Hurricane Katrina. This means that both countries, although they have different laws, we can count on each other in some certain circumstances to help our people. In conclusion, the United States and Japan have many things that are different from each other, but also have in common the court system and law enforcement, and are very different. But the correction system is something they might have in common. And after researching everything, I want to learn more about Japan's laws and how everything is done. I want to know more about their court system and how very differently it is from the U.S. One day I hope to travel to Japan and see it myself. This is in my works cited page, and thank you for listening to my presentation. I am sorry that I did not have a camera. I do have a camera, but it looks like I can't screen record while having my camera on. Thank you so much.